How do you deal with inconsistency with your sales, especially when you're selling over the phone and you're making appointments? And really, how do you deal with inconsistency in anything? That's what I'm gonna answer today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also smash the like button.
Hi, I'm Dan Henry. I used to deliver pizza and sell water bottles to pay my rent. Then I discovered entrepreneurship and grew a $20 million online business. Subscribe to my channel and I'll show you how.
Hey everybody, Dan Henry here, and in today's video, I'm gonna answer a question from Sergio, who says, how do you deal with inconsistency in appointments? Like 1 week you are on fire, next week you don't sell anything. I imagine that it still happens to you sometimes, obviously in a short range, but curious to see how you control that. So I'm gonna answer this question the same way I would answer any question about inconsistency. You have to understand what focal length you're looking at the situation from. How zoomed out are you looking at it? Like for instance, let's say you didn't trade stock and you zoom in on a 1 minute chart, right? So you're looking at the price action of a 1 minute chart and you see the price just tank. It's like up here and it's like going down, 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 down. You would look at that as somebody who's never traded stocks before and say, oh my gosh, the stock's crashing, right? That's the 1 minute chart. That's the price action every 1 minute. Now, if you were to zoom out to the 15 minute, or the 1 hour, or the day, you might have a completely different chart. It might be going like this, up, right? The thing you have to remember is when you have a bad week, there's 52 weeks in a year. If you have a bad week, it could literally just be random. It could be that just by the sheer freaking, like that's the thing, people look for a reason. Well, we had a bad week. Well, why? Let's spend time, energy, and infrastructure to figure it out. And it's like, okay, well, but what if it was just a bad week? What if people just didn't happen to book appointments that week? Is it happening every week? Are you seeing a continuous zoomed out trend, or did it just happen that 1 week and you're just letting it get in your head? That's the first question I ask myself. If it keeps happening, then I'll say, okay, I'll do process of elimination. I'll say, all right, is there something broken? And I'll just start going through the things and I won't get emotional about it. And that's the thing, you can't get emotional about it. I mean, you can if you don't want to make money. But the truth is that if it's just like in jiu-jitsu, right? If somebody's got their hand around your neck and you freak out, you're gonna get choked out and you're gonna expel oxygen at a 5 to 7 times the rate you normally would, and you're gonna tap out. But if you relax and you say, okay, he's got the choke, I've got 2 on 1, there's a little space right here in my chin. Let's see, can I bring my chin in? Nope, it's a bit tight. Maybe and you just start thinking through it calmly. And eventually, even though you're in this incredibly stressful situation, you can maybe get the guy's arm off of you and switch it here and get out and hip out. But the point is if you're freaking out, you're never gonna be able to have the opportunity to do that. So when you have an inconsistent month, remember, the key to being consistent is to be consistent even in the face of apparent inconsistency. When you have this happen, number 1, don't get emotional. Number 2, break it down. Just break it down. What is happening? Look at all the various factors that lead to the end result from the very beginning to the very end, and just try to find the weak link. And if there's no weak link there, well, it's probably just a randomly bad week, you know? But if you find a weak link, then you fix it, period. And one thing that we do at my company, and I do this in life in every aspect, is I constantly assess what is happening, what's working, and why it's working. I tend to focus more on that than what's not working. I try to focus on what is working and do more of that. Like, just to give you an example, and this is so funny, I launched my book, Digital Millionaire Secrets, which I got a copy around here somewhere, but when people read that book, they buy my program and they invest in our consulting at a much higher rate than if they didn't buy the book, or they didn't read the book, or they just like watch me on YouTube or something. Like way higher. And they're also better clients. They also get better results because they come in. It's sort of like if you dragged your friend to church and you expected them to, woo, praise Jesus, right? But if that friend actually read the Bible first and they were locked in and they were like, this book changed my life, and then they went to church, they'd be like, yeah, woo, yeah, you know? And so it's the same thing. So it's funny because I ended up making a little bit of a mistake where I just got bored, and that's probably my biggest problem, is I get bored. And I started trying to do different things to get more customers, and it was a bit self-sabotaging because we did this massive data dive, and we found that still, to this day, the thing we did originally that really worked the best still works the best, and that was my book. And so we had this meeting and we said, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus more on selling the book, just selling the book, and then we're gonna focus on getting people to read the book. So we built out this whole thing where when somebody buys the book, they get emails and they get like chatbot messages and they get text messages that turns into this like 5-day Read Dan's Book challenge. And it's like once they buy the book, our whole goal is to encourage them to finish the book and read the book. And so then when we implemented that and then we got them on the phone, our sales picked up immediately, and the past 2 weeks have been fantastic. And so it's funny how a lot of times we try to figure out new ways to help our company or to help sales, but in reality, it's really just about figuring out how to double down on what works. And there's only really 2 ways I've ever made a ton of money consistently. And that's number 1, focusing on the same exact process and just slightly tweaking it to make it better and letting it run over and over again and getting back at that and not switching from thing to thing. And number 2 is holding some sort of event where I am physically there speaking, working with people. And then at the end I say, hey, if you want to still work with me, join my mastermind or whatever. Those 2 things. And so I let my main process work. I let it consistent. That's our revenue, and it's very consistent. And then when I need some extra money, like if I need to buy something big or I want to move into a new place or something, then I'll do like an event, make a bunch of money, and then, whatever. And it's funny because about a year ago, I did a bonus for my mastermind where I took anybody that joined that day and I did this event where I taught them how to write a book that brought them sales, like basically like how to write a book that brings them high ticket sales. And we had a bunch of people come to that event, and everybody, thought that they could like model or funnel hack me or whatever, just by reading my book and stuff. And when they got to the event and I started teaching, they were like, oh wow, this isn't anything I expected. I now understand why I needed to see behind the scenes and I can't just copy it or model it. Unfortunately, not many people got their book done because they didn't, but one person did. One person did everything I said, finished the book almost immediately, like within a month or 2. And that person also has continuously been my best student. His name is Andrew. He has been in my mastermind for 3 years, and he's made $11 million since he started the mastermind. And he's literally probably the only person that I can say, or one of the only people that I can say did everything I said immediately without question and just followed the plan. And he's had the best results. So I'm not tooting my own horn there, but it just shows you how consistency pays off, because Andy is very consistent. He's extremely consistent. He gets distracted less than I do. It just goes to show you that consistency is about controlling your emotions. It's about looking at things from different heights, and it's about doubling down on what works more than constantly searching for new ways to make it work. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope this brings you a little insight into consistency. And if you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe. Ask me a question in the comments. Maybe I'll answer it in another video. I'll see you in the next one.